My rich dad used to say that you can never have true freedom without having financial freedom. He would also go on to say, freedom may be free, but in order to achieve it, you must be willing to pay a price. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Johnny Walker, aka Jonathan Withanachi. I am the founder of Walk of Wealth, and we are a firm that's dedicated to helping dentists achieve financial freedom through passive investment in real estate. This episode, ladies and gentlemen, is dedicated for those who are committed to paying that price to achieve freedom. Now that quote is obviously from the legendary Robert Kiyosaki, and today we are going to break down Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow Quadrant for dentists. Now if you want to take control of what you do today in order to change your financial destiny, then understanding the Cashflow Quadrant can help put you conceptually in the right track. So let's take a look at the cash flow quadrant. This is what it looks like. Very simple. There should be a picture up on your screen right now. In the top left corner is E for employee. The S is for self-employed. The B is for business. And the I on the bottom right corner is the investor. As I said before, each one of us resides in at least one of these. So let's look at the first one. The first one is the employee, the E. Now this is a dentist. That's an employed dentist that works in either a dental office, a clinic, or private practice. This may also be a dentist that works in an insurance company, for example, that does claims, etc. Now, these dentists in the E, the employee, they tend to receive a regular salary or hourly wage. So what you do as an employee dentist is you provide the service in exchange for money. Now, the advantages of this, you don't have to deal with any of the operations, right? You don't have to deal with the hiring of staff and firing of staff, HR and marketing, just point blank running a business, right? You can remove yourself from that role and strictly provide the services of dentistry. This provides the illusion of job security. It also helps you get a predictable income. And for a lot of associate dentists, it also gives us to certain things like benefits, health insurance, reimbursement, and retirement plans. Other disadvantages of being an employee: you have limited income potential, especially if you're on a salary or hourly wage. There's only a finite amount of money that you can make with a clear ceiling. There's less flexibility. You may have less control over your work schedule, which can make it challenging to achieve a work-life balance. Taking extended vacations or setting your own hours may be very difficult. It's a disadvantage because your employee can terminate you at will. Your employee could face a lawsuit or go bankrupt, and then your job goes with it. You have limited tax benefits. As an employee, you have fewer tax benefits than any other type of dentist out there because you're taxed to the max. The other bottom left corner is the S, or the self-employed. Now, self-employed dentists may have decided to start their own dental practice. This would shift you from an employee, an E, into a S, or self-employed. As a self-employed dentist, you are responsible for running and managing your practice, managing your staff, etc. Now, some of the disadvantages of being self-employed: financial risk, right? Now you're taking on loans, presumably. You have personal guarantees on these loans almost always. Now you're responsible for covering expenses, rent or mortgage payment, equipment, staff salaries. Now people's livelihoods are dependent on you, and overhead costs. If the practice experiences difficulties in revenue for whatever reason, that now becomes the responsibility of the individual dentist. There's numerous operational challenges with running your dental office. Self-employed people tend to work even longer hours and have more stress than the employed dentist, because after they've done their clinical part of it, now they have to do the business management or the operational side of it. When you combine clinical challenges and responsibilities with business challenges, responsibilities, it can sometimes get overwhelming for the self-employed dentist. So we already talked about the time commitment as well as the financial uncertainty. Yes, it's possible to become very lucrative and make a great income, but it's also possible to have a lot of risk. And if things aren't going according to plan, everything's dependent on you, and now your family may not have the income to survive. Let's go to the third letter of the quadrant on the top right side, which is B. The B is the business owner. The difference is in the B, the business owner, they are not the primary driving force of revenue or income for that business, right? There's a clear distinction between the self-employed on the bottom left corner, which is the driving force. Everything starts and ends in terms of income with the primary provider. They may have some other staff, like maybe a hygienist or maybe an associate in the S side of it, but they're the main person. On the B side of it, this person has built a business that he or she may or may not even work in as a clinician. They may work as an employee within their own business, but they don't have to. So this is a DSO owner that has 18 practices. Hey, I got 18 practices, I have 36 dentists working for me, and I'm getting a little piece of each one of their revenues, and that's created substantial income for me. The advantages of being a B: very high income earning potential, right? Unlimited, because you can continue to add locations, you can continue to grow a practice that you've grown into a monster. Hey, my practice used to do 400,000 revenue, now it does 10 million in revenue. in one practice. Also, you're building equity, right? As the value of the practice goes up, as the loans that money you borrowed gets paid down, your equity continues to grow. This is a scalable operation, right? If we have had 18 locations and the person has a proven business model, has built the systems, etc., how hard is it for them to add a 19th practice, right? It's a lot easier than adding their second. This provides real job security because you don't need to have a job in order to have the income in this quadrant. So this quadrant is pretty good so far. Now, what are the disadvantages of an I? You always face existential threats, right? If you're for example, if you built an 18 practice Medicaid model and that state that you're practicing in happens to go bankrupt and the Medicaid system fails, then all of a sudden you have no more patients overnight. You do face threats to the industry. You face threats as an individual, lawsuits, personal injuries, etc. Although that won't affect the day-to-day, this could affect the business. But still, overall, it's a pretty good position to be in as a B. And now let's talk about the bottom right corner, which is my favorite, which is I for the investor. An investor, the investment arm, is somebody who's investing for things that produce cash flow in real estate or businesses or some type of asset that produces passive income or produces income. That's an I investor. Now that money, that income from the I source is independent of anything that you have to do or you have to actively manage, which is different from all three of the other quadrants. This is the only way to achieve true financial security, by getting enough passive income coming in. And if you keep investing and growing your I, that investment quadrant, financial security goes and moves eventually to financial freedom. The true and the best and most predictable way, the less stressful way to achieve financial freedom is right here in this bottom corner in the I, in the investor section. This is where the fewest of us put any real intentional thought to work, right? So hopefully this video will start to stimulate and move some things around in your brain. Like, hey, look, I need to pay attention to the I part of it, no matter what else I am. I might be an employee, I might be a business owner, I might be self-employed, but everyone in those quadrants can participate and still be an I. You can still be an employee, and I have no interest in owning a practice. I have no interest in doing any of that. I just want to go and place implants, and I just want to do ortho or whatever it is that you love to do. I just want to be a clinician. That does not stop you from also being an I. You can be an E that puts their money into the I. Same thing with self-employed, same thing with a business owner. Hey, I'm generating millions of dollars of revenue. I'm making a few $1 million a year for myself. I want to take some of that money off the table. Take some of that off the risk of, hey, everything's in dentistry, and I'm going to start plugging it heavily into some income-producing real estate. This is true diversification for the business owner. And then they're building income apart from their industry, apart from the business that they built. This allows lower volatility, this creates better predictability, and it makes your overall portfolio less risky. I would be remiss if I don't at least talk about the disadvantages of being an investor. One is that there's inherent risk anytime you invest. Investing is something that incurs significant risk that includes potential loss of capital. It is something that you do have to pay attention into what exactly do you invest. It's not just, hey, go invest in anything. It's how likely are you to get these returns, these cash flows, and build wealth. Second disadvantage is the lack of control. As an investor, you have no control over the day-to-day operations of this business that you've invested in. To me, that's still an advantage, because on the investment side, when I'm just having my money work for me, which is what I is all about, it's when your money works for you, I don't want to be involved with the day-to-day decisions. I want to defer to the experts of third parties for that. And that's the whole advantage of being an investor. Successful investing requires knowledge and skill. So either go out and get that knowledge or partner with people that have that knowledge. So those are the basic quadrants, right? We talked about the 4 quadrants, and you belong to at least one of them. But the take-home message of this video is no matter where you lie, try to save as high of a percentage as you can to invest and let that money go and work for you. Remember, time in the market is more important than timing of the market. And to put it another way, you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait. Because once your money's in the real estate game, that's when it continues to churn and grind and grow week after week, day after day, year after year, and you end up becoming very wealthy. All right, guys, I hope that helps a lot today. I hope you got some value from it. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, give us some ideas for upcoming episodes. And until next time, to quote the great and late Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other. I'm Dr. Johnny Walker. Click on the next video, guys. Boom.